From their humble beginnings on a cattle station in the Kimberley of Western Australia, Ringers Western's inspiration comes from their roots. Ringers pride their brand on being tough, adaptable, sometimes cheeky, but always offers you class and loyalty. These principles, along with a high standard of design and quality, set Ringers Western way ahead of the mob. Personally, 3/4 of my wardrobe is Ringers and the majority are their jackets. With winter coming soon, head to ringerswestern.com to check out the range and get yours today. Alrighty, hello and welcome to the first episode of Reminisce with Jaidyn. I've had many countless nights losing sleep, deciding who I'd have as my first guest on, and obviously with this week we're playing Collingwood, and the man who presented me with my first jumper was Steele Sidebottom. It's his 300th game this week and my 100th game, so I thought there'd be no better guest to get on than you, Steele, so welcome to the podcast.
It's very honoured to be the number one man, mate, so I'm looking forward to it, and congrats on the 100 this week.
I was going to give you a big intro. I went through, looked at your Wikipedia, all your accolades. I could talk about Anzac Day medals, premierships forever with you, but I thought I'd give the listener a little bit of an insight into my thoughts on you and how you were with me when I first got to the club. So Steele's, you are one of the most down-to-earth and supportive people. You made coming into the club fun, always laughing, always joking, and you're sort of a role model for me, I suppose. I think we have a lot of similarities, and you might not like to agree with that, but a lot of similarities and a lot of common interests. So I was always attracted to you, and you're a great mentor and role model to me. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I sort of felt that as well. I'd been through some things that probably you were as well, and I was drawn to you and could always offer my advice wherever I could. So it was a pleasure to play alongside you for those however many games it was in the end.
Beautiful. Obviously, your 300th this week. It's an amazing achievement. Did you have it penciled in from the off-season going, round 11, we've got North Melbourne. That's most likely when I'll play my 300th?
Yeah, I have. And, I'll be lying if I didn't. Alicia's probably done a little bit of planning for it as well. She's organised a few things for it. She's taken a lot of things out of my hands, which has been good with tickets and all that kind of stuff. So she's been good in that aspect. But, I guess I've been waiting for it for a while now.
So how many tickets have you asked for? I know I've asked for 30 in the Medallion Club, but it's a Collingwood home game, so I might struggle to get that. How many have you asked for?
Well, I've actually got 50 in the Medallion Club, so you might be getting 30. But I'm probably going to end up giving out about 70 tickets, and there's probably still more that have just got their own tickets. And as I mentioned, Alicia's organised something for after the game, so hopefully can get everyone together after the game and have a drink and just reminisce.
Yeah, nice little plug there. I was very fortunate to play in your 200th game, and we went back to the Holden Centre after, and there was about 60 blokes from Shep, so I can imagine you've got all of them there. What was it like going up in Shep?
Well, I first grew up in Talligroup, and they're just a little town, and then moved to Shep when I was in year 7. Small little town where sort of everyone knows each other. You can't get away with much because if something happens, there's only a handful of kids to choose from who it was, and usually one would cough up and say it was. So I still love going back home now. 2 of my brothers still live back in Tally. I'm on a few like Snapchats with a lot of the guys from Tally. We do footy tipping and that together. So still keeping contact, and I'm still Rusty, the bloke I am when I left. So I'm not the Steele Sidebottom, the football. When I go back there, I can just be myself, and that's one thing that I really love about it.
Yeah, you mentioned Rusty there. I think all your brothers, what is there, 5 of you?
Yeah, 5.
All have nicknames.
Yeah.
Run us through those.
Yeah, so I'm Rusty. Mum actually explained it to me. I think it was either going to be Stainless or Rusty, and I ended up with Rusty. Ryan, his golly, he used to chase around his dummy, going golly, golly, golly. So that's how he got golly. Josh is Twiggy because he's tall and skinny like you.
Yeah.
Tice is Fleabag. I don't actually know why he's Fleabag. And then Trent's Buff. He's a bit of a buffhead growing up. So that's probably what we're known as back home. So whenever I hear someone yell out Rusty, I usually turn because I think that I know him. So if you want to get me attention, yell out Rusty.
Yeah, beautiful. Do you head back very often?
I try and get back as much as I can. I went back only a couple of weeks ago to do some stuff with the footy club. Leisha and I have bought a place in Tallarook, which is halfway to Shet. So we sort of spend most of our time there, and then mum or whoever can make the trip to Tallarook and meet halfway. So don't get back there as much as I used to, but still love heading back.
You came to the system, had success straight away.
Yeah.
Talk us through what your first few years were like.
Yeah, so got drafted at the end of 2008, 2009. Played probably the first, 5 or 6 games in the VFL, and probably, had to try and earn my spot with the footy club. We're in a good position that time, and was lucky enough then to debut in round 7 against the Saints in 2009. Got pumped by about 70 points that week. And then, played, I think, 8 or 9 games, and then got dropped. And then was fortunate enough actually to get picked for the first final against the Saints in 2009. So 2009 was lucky enough to end up playing in the prelim. And then obviously 2010 was the draw, and then won the grand final. 2011 lost the grand final, and then I think 12 we lost the prelim. So the first sort of 4 years of my career, I was very fortunate and probably took a lot of it for granted and just expected that was the normal and it was going to happen all the time. And I've, since found out that that's not how it works. I was, young and probably didn't make the most of the opportunity that I had. I still remember to the day when we won the flag in 2010, like Luke Ball just saying, make sure you really take it all in and embrace it all for what it is, because, they don't come around that often. And me being 19 at the time just probably shrugged it off and was keen to have a good night. And, I guess that's probably one of the regrets and that I have from that night is just really taking it all in and enjoying it, because, as he said, it doesn't happen often, and I've not been able to, live that moment again, and it's something that I'm obviously still striving for. But I think later in the career, and you obviously were involved in that in 2018, I had a real focus on making sure that I just really enjoyed it, because I knew then that it didn't come around often. So I made sure I sort of sat back and really took it all in. And that 2018 finals experience for me was really special, and one that, I'll remember forever. Yeah,
and I can obviously completely agree. My first year was that 2018 year, and everything sort of just went well that year. Couldn't do anything wrong. We're playing in a grand final, and like you said, I sort of took it for granted. I thought, look, we're going to be back here again soon. It's going to happen all the time, but 6 years down the track, that doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah.
Talking about that 2018 final series, you were amazing the whole way through. I think you came second in the Brownlow throughout the year, but you won the Gary Ayres Award as well for best finals player. What do you think it is that makes you step up in those big games?
I don't know. I suppose I just like to approach each game the same, really. I try not to build things up too much, try not to put too much pressure on myself, whatever. But, I tend not to change too much. And, we played 4 finals that year, and I played 3 good ones and played shit in the granny. So I would happily flip the script on that and play 1 good one in the granny, that's for sure. But I don't know if I've been fortunate or what it is, but when the big games arrive, I feel like I embrace them well and just look to do my best like everyone else. But most of your work's done during the week that you're confident enough to go out there and perform each week.
You said you might want to change the script around from 3 to 1, but if you hadn't have been playing as well in those first 3, we might not have made it to the granny. So it was a credit to you. And I obviously come in, I knew a lot about you. Mum and I were looking for photos to put up a photo for the podcast. And there was one in 2010, and we were travelling around Australia in the caravan, did a nice trip up the middle of Central Australia, Oodnadatta, all that. And we're in Lee Creek for the grand final, just an old, rickety old town. We went to the local pub and the footy was on, and Mum's got a photo there of me sitting there watching it, the one photo she took for the day, and you've got the ball in your hand. And we looked back going, how amazing. Like, I'm sitting there as an 11-year-old watching the grand final, watching you, not knowing that 8 years later I'm going to be playing in a grand final with you. So it's amazing how quick time goes. And obviously, I don't want to say you're getting to the end of your career, but
I am.
You sort of are.
Yeah, I am. I'm right near the end of it, probably.
Yeah, but your body's always stayed right. Obviously, to get to 300 games, there's a lot that's gone right.
Yeah.
How much more do you reckon you've got in you?
I'm contracted for next year still, so I'll happily get through that. And then just depending on how the team's going, how I'm going, how Righty views me at that stage, there's probably a lot of things that come into it. But, you know, I love footy, and to be honest, I don't have a whole lot in terms of work going on outside of the footy. So footy pays all right. So I'll try and just keep playing for as long as I can, and hopefully when I'm done, a job will pop up when it's ready.
The player development managers at the club, they're pretty pushy on trying to get you to upskill outside of footy. And every year I've always had that chat, Jaidyn, what are you doing off the field?
Yeah.
How have you skipped through that?
Well, I'll sort of skip through it, but then I haven't as well. I've had a crack at a few things. I tried to do an apprenticeship in building carpentry. I'll say COVID wrecked that.
You weren't going very often anyway.
Didn't finish that. I was going to do some work at Cricket Victoria, which I've since put on hold. But I don't know. I feel like I'm really invested in the footy at the moment, and I love to put all my eggs into that basket. I know that you need to have a balance, but I probably don't have that balance. And I don't know. I think, as I sort of said, when the time's right, I'll hopefully find something. But at the same time, I want to make the most of the opportunity that I've got, and that's footy. There's no doubt I could have done more to try and find and set myself up better outside of footy. But, you know, I'm pretty happy and content with I'm sitting here at the moment. I've had a pretty good career to date, and, you know, maybe if I've spent more time looking for a job outside of footy, I haven't put in as much work for my footy. So who knows?
That's it. You got a couple of houses in queue, one on the way to Shep. Don't think you'll be worried for $1 once you're done.
Let's hope.
You guys are absolutely flying this year. It's been amazing. Obviously last year, all those games where you came from behind and just doing the same thing again this year. Yep. Why do you think you're so good at just running over teams in that fourth quarter?
Well, for one, we've been in that position so many times. We've had experience in it. We've trained it. We've watched vision, and we've lived it out, so we know what to expect in those moments. I think I can't talk for other clubs, but we've trained hard, probably like everyone has. And our probably GPS numbers and the way we finish off games has showed that. Whether we're in front or, you know, whenever we're down, we just have this belief that we're always in the game, and we talk about playing the minutes. I think to beat us, you've got to be able to play all the minutes, because, we don't stop until the final siren. And I guess there's luck involved, but then when you put so much time and effort into things as well, I think, there's sort of no coincidence why we are getting over the line in those tight ones. In
the time that I was there, Darcy Moore wasn't even in the leadership group, I don't think, and he's now skyrocketed to leadership group, and now he's captain and doing a really good job. His footy's gone to another level. Yep. How have you found his leadership?
Oh, Darcy's been unreal, to be honest. You know, the bloke before him done a pretty good job as well, but he's brought something different, and, you know, him and Pendles aren't the same people. Darcy's he's a very smart man. You know, he still wants input from everyone at the footy club. It's not like he's the captain now and it's, you know, him pointing down. He's very inclusive, and he has a big support group around him. His form at the moment is unbelievable as well. I just think he's a really well-rounded person. He looks after himself. He's quite switched on, away from footy as well. I think he's almost the perfect face for the footy club, in my opinion. So, since he's sort of only been in the job for not long now, and to be honest, he probably hasn't put a foot wrong. But as we know, things will pop up along the way, and there'll be challenges thrown at him. But as I sort of mentioned, he's been superb this far.
Yeah, and I totally agree. Obviously, he shows great leadership qualities, and he's one of those people you can sit down, you can have an in-depth conversation with, get really deep. He's obviously very intelligent, as you touched on, and I think his speech on Anzac Day is a credit to that. I suppose that was just unbelievable. We might steer away from the footy now. I've got a little segment that I've come up with, and it's called How Well Do You Know Yourself? Right. So they're going to be little questions. I mean, it could show that you're observant and of yourself, or just love yourself a little bit too much, but we'll soon see. We'll start with question 1. What colour boots did you wear in the 2018 grand final?
White.
Yes, they were white. That's great. I actually, funny story on that too. I wore your boots, the same pair, and they were your boots. So
Did ya?
I think I was wearing size 12s all year, and they were a little bit big. And I was like, Sidey, can I borrow a pair of 11s for the grand final?
You
and
must have got the good ones. I got the shit ones.
I did for 2 kicks, and then they turned to no good as well.
I had the same.
Yeah, you obviously never gotten those back. Mum's hidden them. They went through Mum's actually got a magic washing machine. So.
Right.
Like my first ever jumper, I was playing at Upway Tacoma in the under 10s, and obviously I think I was wearing the number 4 and spent the whole year in it. At the end of the year, you've got to give it back to the club so that the under 10s the year after can wear it. And somehow it went in the magic washing machine, and the club didn't get that one back, unfortunately. It got lost. And I think the same thing happened with my 2012. I won a premiership at Ferntree Gully, and after the game, chucked that straight in the magic washing machine. That disappeared too. So
good on you, Rick.
How's your mum? Is she hoard a bit of stuff?
Yeah, my mum's actually, it's good actually. I went back 2 weeks ago and filmed some stuff with the footy club and went into like her back room thing, and it was just like an old, like hanger with, and there was like footy jumpers and brothers cricket gear. There was heaps of stuff on there, which was nice actually. Like my old year 12 top, like school top was on there. It was actually nice to have a look at. So it's good that she holds on to that stuff and brings back a few good memories. Yeah,
certainly. I think that'll be good to pass on to your kids in the future. We'll get back to the questions. What round did you kick your first goal?
So I debuted in round 7, 8, I'm going to say round 9 against the Eagles over there.
Very good, very good. Great start. Who'd you play in your 50th game? I couldn't tell you who I played in my 50th. It wasn't even that long ago.
50. I feel like I've played a lot of my milestones against North. Was it North?
It was North Melbourne, yep. And I suppose that leads into the next question. Who'd you play your 250th against?
North
Melbourne, yeah. So you obviously love a milestone game against us, and unfortunately, you've actually won every single milestone you've played in. So the boys always get up for you. Obviously a great figure around the club, and the boys always perform for you.
Hopefully we keep it that way then, eh?
Yeah, hopefully. Oh, no, not hopefully.
For my sake, not
certainly
yours.
Not. What's the most disposals you've had in a game, and when?
It was against Adelaide, round 3 maybe, not
4.
sure. Round 4 over there. I had 42. 43.
You had 43. Yeah, you stole the 3 Brownlow votes off me. I'd kicked 5, but I didn't even get a vote.
I think Brody had about 30 something too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think Adsy had a big one as well, but I think you got the 3 votes, and my five goals missed out, unfortunately.
Oh, well.
You've gone pretty well here. Final question. Talked about your brother Ryan before.
Yep.
What's his birthday?
14th of August.
What year?
89.
Very good.
Yep.
Yeah, very good. You are a good family man. Yeah.
He's about the only one I know, to be honest. If you had have asked any other, I wouldn't have got it.
I couldn't Google the rest of them. His was the only one that popped up on Wikipedia, so that's great. We said before we had common interests and both love playing a bit of golf. You said you've been getting out to Green Acres a bit lately. How's that going?
Yeah, good. I've played the last 2 Mondays actually after footy. Hadn't really had much of a hit this season. Played last week with Darcy Cameron. Darcy Cameron's loves his golf. He's a member out at Rosanna.
Really good fella as well.
Yep. So yeah, played with him last Monday. I was off 13, I think. I had 36 points, which was nice. And then played again yesterday with Darce, his brother, and Tay Adams at Green Acres again, and had 31. So didn't play as well, but I feel like, as you would know, I've starting to get that little golf bug back in me. It just
grabs you, doesn't it? Yeah, I'd played every now and then last July I sort of was just a little bit bored, so I signed up at the golf club, and it's bitten me hard. Been going out 2-3 times a week, probably too many, but such addictive game. What was the lowest handicap you got down to?
The lowest handicap I got when I first signed at Green Acres, I was off 20, I think. Like my first ever handicap, and the first comp I played, I had 45 points and it went straight to 10. So I reckon I might have got to like 9 point something, but I've slowly blown out to I'm about 13 point something now. So
beautiful. Still a good golfer then. Who would be the best golfer you reckon you've gone around with in footy?
Howie.
Howie?
Yeah, I think so. Off? Howie's off 5 maybe. Hits a long ball. I think all good golfers are good at getting themselves out of the shit. Like they put them behind trees or whatever, and I feel like if I'm in that position, I'm going for that 1% shot where they just smart and put it close to the green or whatever it is. He's very accurate off the tee, which helps.
I thought you were going to give our good mate Adam Oxley a shout out there. He's a good golfer. Yeah, I was hoping you'd give him a shout out.
Ox is a very good golfer. He needs to sort his swing out. As you know, he's got a bit of the Charles Barkley about him now. He takes his backswing and pauses up there for some reason. But Ox is a very good golfer as well. But I would have Howie maybe just above him. I think Ox's handicap at the moment?
I think he'd be about 4 or 5 as well. Yeah. Right. But he watches too many YouTube videos and he's changing his swing every time we play. So
I used to say to Ox, playing with him on the golf course, he was so animated, like he was playing footy and you'd never ever see him animated at footy. And I used to say, I wish you'd, put this much into your footy, because he'd be out in the golf course and he expects to hit everyone like Tiger Woods and he doesn't. He throws clubs, he gets very down on himself. So he's good value on the golf course, Oxo.
He's great value on the tennis court as well. We actually went out and had a hit one day. He came out to Dendy Park tennis courts and he had his new $350 tennis racket. Ox is one of those people where...
Did he pay $350 for that?
He would have, I'm sure. He was one of those people. We loved our fortnight. We'd go out and he decided he was going to try keyboard and mouse, which you probably don't understand, but keyboard and mouse. And they said, all right, well, you're playing it on a PlayStation. You can just get the $50 one. That'll suffice. If you get the 50 or the 200, they're going to be the exact same because you're running it off a PlayStation. Ox goes, nah, I'll have the $200 one. I'll get this. Spends $800, uses it once, and then just, too hard. Standard. So, like I was saying, the tennis court at Dendy, so he's come out there and we said we'll play 2 sets, just a best of 3. So I won the first set 6-love. And was up 3-love in the second set and he's launching balls over the back fence.
I can actually imagine it too.
And I think I aced him to win the 3rd game of the second set. And he walks over and he goes, Steve-O, we're going to have to stop it there. If we play anymore, I'm going to break this racket. And I paid $350 for it.
Oh, it's actually unreal how much he gets fully involved with it and just expects to be that good at it.
Yeah. Well, he's a very good sportsman, but
he's elite. But it's funny how mad he gets.
Now we're gonna dampen the mood a little bit here, but you had a little incident back when I was at the club and involving some fire and had to move out of home for a bit.
Yeah, I did. I think it might have been in 2018. I was at home with one of my mates and we were putting new decking boards out the front of the house, and there was an open house over the road and the person that was doing that was the guy who sold us our house. So we were just out the front working away and he yelled out, Steele, he's like, there's some smoke coming out of your backyard. Like, have you got anything cooking? And I was like, nah, I don't. That's weird. So I ran out the back and I could see I had it was a Weber, but it was sort of like decking and then the sort of barbecue stand was decking as well, just sort of sat on top. I had a little fridge in it as well, like built in. And so I went out there and I could see that the cover over the Weber was on fire. Weber, I think I said Weber. Weber was on fire. So I quickly grabbed the hose and tried to put it out. And I almost had it out. Like it was out. And then all of a sudden the gas bottle that was connected to the barbecue, I think gas bottles now are designed to they used to maybe be metal and they'd explode. Now the little ring in it just melts so that all the gas just comes out. And it just happened to be pointing towards the house when it melted and all the gas just started shooting out towards the house. So basically as soon as that happened, there was a little bit of flame. I threw the hose. And
so you're actually trying to firefight it yourself?
Well, I had it out basically until that gas bottle blew up. Well, it didn't blow up, just started. So I literally would have had 3 meters to get inside and up the stairs to get outside. And by the time I'd moved there, the bifolds had started cracking. Obviously went out the front, didn't know what to do. I was shitting myself. I was panicking. So I ran down the road thinking, and then I got halfway down the road and I'm like, well, I can't just run away from your house on fire.
What was your plan? What was your plan running down?
To be honest, I wasn't even thinking. I was like, I just need to remove myself from this situation. And then was down the road, like watching the house like burn down, like it was higher than the trees. I ran next door to tell them to move their car and they weren't home. So it turns out they lost their car. It was about $130,000 Land Cruiser. That got torched. They lost that. We lost basically, we didn't lose the house, but there was a fair bit of damage done to it. We were out of the house for a good 12 months. But yeah, like it was, when I was out the front, the firefighter, I think the fire truck took about 6 minutes. It felt like about 6 hours to get there. And then there was, I don't know, it felt like there was about 50 people out the front as well. Whenever there's something in the neighbourhood, everyone always wants to come out and have a look. And then, that was it. The house was basically gone. I'd actually meant to be at a premiership reunion that day as well. So
terrible timing.
Yeah, terrible timing. Didn't go to that.
The house had already burnt. You might as well have just gone.
A lady over the road, we just went over to their place and ended up getting pretty pissed, and probably made it even worse the next day when we had to go back and sort of start looking through the house of what we'd lost and what we could keep. But it was a shitty time, but shit happens as well, doesn't it?
Was there anything inside you in particular that burnt or was smoke damage that you really wish you could have been able to keep?
No, we're actually pretty lucky because it was sort of the like the living room and kitchen area. You know, most people don't keep too many valuables out there. So all the bedrooms were okay. They didn't get burnt. They just sort of had like black soot all through them. So everything was covered in like black crap or whatever it is. But nothing, too personal was lost. We've got 2 dogs who, if we hadn't have been home, clearly would have lost our 2 dogs as well. So the fact that we were home was probably a bit of a blessing, but it's not ideal to have a house fire, that's for sure.
You actually were talking there about running down the street. You got nervous, so just started running. That's actually pretty good leading.
That's what I thought you were going to ask me first, to be honest.
Oh, about the 2K time trial? Yeah, you seem to get nervous. I don't know. I don't understand it. You always rock up, you'd win, but you get so nervous.
I thought you were taking that somewhere else as well, but that's good. It's like anything. Like I still hurt and felt the same as the bloke come last. Like I was still hurting, but when you win and you're probably expected to win every time, and for whatever reason, I just used to hate the 2K. Although I was good at it there for a time, I just would hate it. I would have the worst night's sleep before day one of pre-season just thinking about the 2K. So we've since changed that test at the footy club. We don't do it anymore, so it's been nice.
What are you doing now?
I don't know what it's called. It's like the 30-15 test. It's sort of, a bit different. I mean, they're all sort of, it's not a beep test, but it's the same kind of concept, up, back type thing. So, Big Q's the man of that. He's quick and he's got good endurance. So I've got endurance. I'm not quick.
We do a shuttle one where it's like up 40 shuttle, 60 shuttle, 80 shuttle, and do that 5 times. So for someone like me who doesn't turn too well, it's a little bit tougher, but was able to work on my time this year. I know exactly how you feel, because obviously I think when you're expected to win, you get those nerves because the pressure's on. If you just know you're going to run midfield, which I do, I know 2K, I'm going to be somewhere between 10 and 20. So I just rock up and I know my running capability's going to get me there. There's no pressure to perform and come first. But whenever I start on the blocks for a 100-meter sprint, I've got that same feeling. It's the only time I ever get butterflies. You can attest to it as well. Like we can run out and play in front of 100,000 people. Yeah. You don't have that same feeling, but standing on the start line of a 100 meter is just incredible.
It's just that expectation on you to perform. But it's like you said, like I turn up to footy each week and I rarely get nervous. I get nervous on the drive in. That's about it. So to get nervous for a 2K that, can take you 6.5 minutes, it's bizarre.
Yeah, and we said before, obviously at the start of the podcast, you're someone who likes to laugh, likes to have a joke, always keeping the vibes up at the club.
Yep.
Have you got any really good pranks you can let us in on that you've done?
I used to get Oxo a fair bit. Adam Oxo used to live with me for, I don't know how long in the end. It was only for a couple of weeks, but extended that out for a few months. I used to always hide in his bedroom or something before he goes to bed and scare him, but I've been on the end of a few pranks. I don't know that I've sort of done too many myself, but unless you're...
Run us through the one with Maxi where you had you selling stuff out the back of the car.
I think, that was in my second year as well, and I was very naive, and I'd been at training all day, and our media manager then at the time dropped me off at a servo and met Maxi there and just said, we'll go into a coterie group function. So I had no idea. I was like, yeah, sweet, the captain's taking me for a function.
Was in thongs, wasn't he?
He was
surely a little bit sus from the start.
Well, and he had a different, like looking back now, I should have been sus, but I literally had no idea. There was things like when I was in his car, he had a built-in GPS into his Lexus, and then above it was, from what I know now, a camera. And I was like literally looking up into it. I'm like, this looks like a camera. And he's like, nah, it's just like a GPS thing because this one's no good. So like I would have been literally staring into it. He told me he had his brother-in-law in the background, which wasn't, he was just some guy recording the noise. And then, yeah, he said just I need to make a quick stop and pulled down this alleyway and popped the boot. And there was, I don't know, 5 or 6 rough looking customers ready to buy something off him. And yeah, I was, well, you can see in the video I was shit myself, and then his phone rings and he takes off and I almost froze up. I didn't know what to do, to be honest. They're asking for his thongs, for my thongs, going through his footy bag. I think his wallet even could have been in there at one stage. Funny thing it doesn't show is there was like a 2005 Collingwood like team photo.
Yep.
And I wasn't even in that team photo. And he was like, are you in this? I was like, nah. And he's like, just sign his name like left-handed. So I was actually signing people's names left-handed. But yeah, I was caught off guard big time. And then, yeah, the cops rock up and I froze. I'm one that I hate conflict or anything like that. Anything serious is going on, I'm no good for. And yeah, when they come, I just froze and didn't know what to do. And you can tell in the video. And then Maxie comes out and I sort of twigged on a little bit what way he was talking. And then finally, yeah, Pete Hallier come out and I knew that I'd just been pranked, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a great story, great viewing. For anyone who hasn't watched it, go to YouTube, search Steele Sidebottom, Nick Maxwell prank. It's a great watch. Obviously, today's episode couldn't be possible without Ringers Western. So you've got the Ringers Western cap on there. I've got the hoodie, the cap. There's signage all around, the drink bottle. So in honour of Ringers, we're going to have a little segment to explain. They obviously do predominantly Western sort of clothing, outback clothing. So have you got any experience in the background, out camping, anything like that?
I used to actually camp flat out as a kid. Every Easter and Christmas we'd head down to the Golden River. Set up the big, well, it was probably a 10-man tent back then to get all the kids and mum and dad in. But yeah, I used to love the summertime down there, plenty of fishing. I don't know if you're allowed to set springers one day, but we might have had a couple of legal set lines or something going on. Maybe not. I might have made that up. But yeah, I used to love my time down there. I knew, every year we'd do that, head down there and probably spend a good week down there. And Dad had the boat. There'd be no kneeboarding in the Golden, too many logs and things in there. But yeah, the early days, like you would know the sort of the best days of your life, and those ones you never forget with your family, and going away camping with family and friends was always a highlight of my year.
Do you still get out at all?
I've got a swag. Don't use it that often.
Do you get the King's Double Daddy Deluxe or something?
I've actually got my best mate's got me a swag for my 30th. So, yeah, I do love the outdoors, but probably not so much camping. Like I like going fishing. I've been fishing a little bit of late actually. But yeah, no sort of riding horses or riding bulls as such, that's for sure.
What's your go-to fishing? Are you a lure, bait, fly fishing?
Usually bait, but I actually just over the New Year, Christmas period, I caught my first cod on a lure off the surface. So that was pretty exciting, but I've since been out and haven't got another one. So I might have to revert back to the bait fishing. Is
it something you'd want to instill in your family life, I suppose? Tilly, she'd be what, about
2.5, nearly 3.
Nearly 3, yeah. She's growing up. Some of your Snapchats, Steele, I know he might be 32, but he's strong on the Snapchat stories, always putting stuff up of his little girl, and you seem like a really laid-back dad. Is going camping something you'd want her to experience growing up as a kid?
Yeah, and it's probably part of the reason as well why we got this place in Tallawarra, just to get out of Melbourne and experience sort of the way I grew up. It's as soon as you get out of Melbourne, you just feel the clearer air. You can't hear the hustle and bustle of the city all the time. You can just go there and chuck the radio on, light a fire or whatever it is, and just do whatever you want, really. Just plod around. I just go there. I don't even have anything to do, but I'll find something to do. I'll try and build something, or I got myself a 0-turn mower, so I'll go back there and sit on that for a few hours or whatever. But yeah, Matilda loves it there. There's plenty of animals and stuff there for her as well. And yeah, just to slow down life a bit out in the country is always nice.
Good chance for you to just sit down, have a few tins. And do you ever get into the pooey and milks out there? Or
The milky poos.
You just save them for special occasions.
Yeah, I do. They knock you around a bit, so I try not to tap into too many of those.
Yeah, well, the last time I would have seen you before here was at Jack Madgen's wedding party, I suppose. Him and his wife Heidi just went and eloped because COVID sort of stuffed up their plans for their wedding. So we had the party December last year and obviously started on the beers, and then Steele comes out with his jug of Kahlua, Bailey's, vodka and milk.
Yeah, that's a good drop. If any of your listeners haven't tried it, I suggest having a crack.
That's a Steele special. We'll go back to Matilda. How's life changed? How's Alicia going? Is she still working? Like, how's it changed your life? It's a massive commitment. My best mate, we actually just had his baby gender reveal party on Sunday, and it all popped up a little girl. And it was
how'd they do that?
Oh, they had just the blue or the pink canister. Like they shot him out like fireworks, and the bloke who was running it, like this bloke, it's his one job to get the canisters right. Yeah. And my mate and his partner are standing there, and the bloke goes, "Oi, you might want to move forward because you might get pink smoke on you." And my mate's like, "Pink smoke?" He goes, "Oh, pink or blue, whatever." Like he's got one job and he's ruined it for him. So obviously the pink smoke all came out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And obviously all my mates and I, we were just set that he was having a boy. He's a sort of bloke that, I don't know if he deserves a boy, but you just can only imagine him with a boy. And now that he's having a little girl, it's crazy. And I presume your mates were probably the same when they found out you were having a girl.
Yeah, well, I've got no doubt that little girl softened him up, that's for sure. It's the best thing that's happened to me, to be honest. I couldn't love her anymore. She makes me so happy whenever I'm around her. She's getting a little bit older now. She's starting to test me out a little bit, but I guess the more fun they get, the more they start testing you out. But I just love to be around her all the time. I'm always sort of racing home or heading into childcare early to pick her up or whatever it is. I just love being around her. She makes me happy. And Alicia's been an incredible mum as well. She's been back at work now for a while. She just does four days a week, has one day off that she'll spend with Matilda. But we've got a great little family that, I love at the moment, and it's nice. Obviously footy can become, like a highly stressful environment at times. But, when I'm home with Matilda and Leash, it just, almost forget about footy and just really love to be in their company. And, I'm sure you used to always tell me you look forward to having kids. Part of me wishes that I had kids earlier, but then obviously you've got to give things up. And I enjoyed my 20s up until I was, 29 when I think I had Matilda. I don't know. I can't speak more about how much I love having my own little family. Obviously got married as well at the end of last year. And let's hope that maybe there might be a few little kids running around soon.
You reckon 2, 3, 4? What's your ideal number?
I'd like to have 3, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
3 kids.
I'm hoping you get a boy next.
Well, you thought your mate was adamant they were going to have a boy. For whatever reason, Leisha and I never found out what we're going to have. And we used to just always have people saying, "You're going to have a boy, you're going to have a boy." And
you come from 5.
Yeah, exactly. And we believed it really. Like we were adamant we're going to have a boy. And then obviously when Matilda was born, I think I was in shock a little bit as well. I didn't know how to react at the start, but I'm almost glad now that I had a little girl and not a little boy. I mentioned before it'll soften your mate up. It's definitely softened me up, and I love my daughter like every father does.
Yeah, you said before, I said I was ready to have kids, and I think with my mate having a kid, it sort of put it in perspective for me. And I'm certainly not ready to give up my rounds of golf each week and ability to do what I want. My girlfriend's actually just moved in with me, and made sure I've made it very clear that kids aren't on the close horizon, I suppose.
Yeah, well, and that's like I said, like you've obviously got to give things up as well. So it was 29 was a good age for me where, you know, maybe I'd done everything I needed to do by that age. So there's definitely, like I haven't played golf near as much as I used to since Matilda's been here, but hanging out Matilda is better than playing golf anyway.
You're 32 now.
Yeah.
Got a little family started. Footy's still going well. I hope you can play into your 40s if that's a chance. Get to game 400. Obviously, I think Pendles is a record holder at Pies at the moment.
Yep.
Is it an aspiration to maybe chase him down?
Nah, not really, to be honest. And I don't think if Pendles is already up to about 360 or something. So, no, I'm not chasing Pendles at all because I don't think I'll be able to get there. And he doesn't look like he's slowing down either. So, I would think by looking at the way he's going now that he's every chance to get 400. But as I mentioned earlier, I want to play footy for as long as I can. So if it means that I play 305 or it means I made 350, whatever it is, I'll be pretty happy.
And what are your aspirations post-footy? So obviously, like you said, you haven't put in a whole lot of thought and a lot of upskilling, but have you got some sort of idea of what you want to do?
I'd love to just experience the real world, as they say, and get a job and, just, I guess, almost have a bit of a break from footy as well. Although I say I love it and I'll keep doing it, it would be nice to also have a break once I'm done. So hopefully I don't need to rush into a job straight away, but I'd also love to be able to give back a little bit to country footy as well. Obviously, where I've grown up and the way I was brought up, I'd love to be able to probably not play. Hopefully can't even run anymore when I'm finished at Collingwood. So whether it's coaching or having some kind of involvement at local footy back in the country is something that I think I'll definitely tap into at some stage. As I mentioned, there's not a whole lot there waiting for me, to be honest.
Yeah, obviously I didn't grow up in the country. I grew up in Ferntree Gully. It's 45 minutes out of the city, but it sort of feels more like a country town than a suburbs town. And like you said, that connection to community, I'm always down. I still go down. I play a few games of cricket in the off season. Yeah. The thought of finishing AFL and then going back and playing a season at Ferntree Gully is just something that I know will always keep my passion for footy there. It's like once I'm done, I've still got this one good year where it doesn't matter if I'm 35 or I'm 25, I'm going to go back. I'm going to play 1 year at Ferntree Gully and I'll go back there free of charge. But
you say that now.
No, free of charge, but any food and any beer on Thursdays and on Saturday nights, that's all free. So
you don't drink beer, do you?
You're kidding, aren't you? I've matured since those days. Yeah. Well, that's it. I started with you. I think you're a bit of a rat bag. You used to tell me in your early days, and you've straightened out, gotten in the leadership group. So hopefully I can emulate your career. And like I said, I looked up to you from the start. So that would be amazing for me.
Oh, let's hope.
Yeah, we'll finish up. One thing I want to ask each guest before they walk out is, if you're having a party, so say you're having a massive party, the next one for you would be your 40th. Yeah. Somehow money's not an issue.
Yeah.
You can have anyone you want. You need to have 2 musicians come and play. They can be a band or an artist. So you've got a 7:30 till 10 slot and a 10 till late slot. Who are you inviting and getting?
So the music first.
The music, yeah.
A few of us boys in 2017, I think it was, went over to Ibiza, whichever way you pronounce it. And we see Martin Garrix live there, which was something that I'll never forget. So he'd be one. He might be the later time slot.
Yep. 10 till late. So who are you putting on as a starter?
I'm not huge into my music, to be honest. I have a playlist, but I don't know. I'd like even someone like Snoop Dogg would be pretty. It's a bit of a different mix, but I think the personality of Snoop Dogg would be good to have at a party. And all his songs were sort of good songs when I was growing up. So I know the lyrics to a few, so I'll be able to have a nice sing along with Snoop Dogg. Yeah,
you'd have to pay him a little bit extra for him to stay after while Martin's playing and have a chat in the party.
Issue, didn't you say?
Yeah, money's not an issue. That's what I'm saying. So he'll stick around. They're not the 2 artists I would have expected from you, but I can certainly agree with Martin Garrix. I spent my whole year 12 year, and I don't encourage any kids that are listening to do this, but I found maths pretty easy. I did maths methods in year 11 and passed that, and did the easy maths in year 12. So I just used to sit there with my laptop and the headphones in, listen to Martin Garrick's play at Tomorrowland, and that was 8 periods a week. So yeah, that's a great choice. Thanks again for coming on, Steele. It's like I said, you've been amazing to me in my first 3 years of my career, and whenever we catch up or see each other, it's like time's never passed, and 300 games is an amazing achievement. I'm looking forward to seeing you run out there. I hope you have 30, kick 3 and lose by 6 goals. Yeah, all the best, mate. It's an amazing achievement. You should be really proud of yourself. And I know Alicia, Matilda, your mum, Linda it is, isn't it? Yeah, got that right. Would all be very proud of you. And I know someone who's really proud of you is my mum. She's your biggest fan. So
thanks, Raquel.
Yeah, she was very happy when I announced you as the first guest. So all the best, mate. Thanks again, and we'll catch up soon for a round of golf.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me, and all the best for your 100. Let's hope that you've got 100 more in you, if not more. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be on, and all the best with whoever else you can get on now.
Thanks again for tuning in. If you want to support the podcast and help us grow, make sure to follow and like us on all our social media platforms, and share us to your friends also. Thanks heaps, and see you on the next episode.